What's up guys, welcome back for another Yugioh Pro Duel video. The new Dream Mirror cards, was it earlier? Yesterday indeed, yesterday the new wave, the new support wave from, or at least of Dream Mirrors got revealed, right? Got like a preview, and when I first saw the first wave I was like, this doesn't really seem that great, of course with only the first wave, couple of cards. But, you know, second wave, new cards, a new fusion, a new polymerization, 2 new level 4s as well. So the archetype, it gets a bit more clear where Konami wants to, you know, it gives them a goal, I guess. So the 2 level 1s, very similar to the Adels and idea for Monarchs, right? The 2 level 1s are your MVPs, I guess, and the 2 new level 4s are quite decent as well, both of them at 2, same for their bigger boss monsters, you know, they remind me of Dragon Mates, and Cosmos in some way, and Gladiator Beast, like, you know, you can tag them out during both players' main phases and battle phases, but most crucial is their field spell. They will only get their effects when they are tagged out, well, when they are special summoned off of a Dream Mirror monster effect, right? So, okay, get the Stratos, get the Debris Dragon, one of the new level 4s is like a Debris Dragon, but the archetype, its main core, its main strategy is keep your field spell on the field, and maybe with that trap card, you know, they also have like a metaverse-alike trap that, or a combination between Metaverse and Set Rotation that immediately, that's why, you know, you're playing the Trap Trick engine, that immediately activates both the field spells of your archetype, and, well, it's quite clear that you want to have both field spells at the same time on the field to make use of their effects, since, again, one of those typical things about Dream Mirrors is that the dark monsters only get their tag out effect if the light field spell is on the field, while, you know, the light monsters only get their tag out effect when the dark field spell is on the field. So this also acts if your opponent controls one of the field spells, one of the Dream Mirror field spells, right? So that's why the Trap Trick engine is here in this deck as well. And that somewhat justifies the fact that this deck is running well over 40 cards. And also the thing, because these field spells aren't really the best. It's not like the Trickstar field spell or the true Draco field spell, or, you know, the Subterror field spell that, let's say, when you activate it, search something from your deck, give protection or whatever. No, that's not the case. So it somewhat justifies, again, running well over 40 cards, since you don't want to break with multiple field spells in your hand. Since, again, during the end phase, you can like banish like one field spell here on your side of the field to search the other counterpart, to immediately activate it, right, on your side of the field. So potentially making your, let's say, dark monsters or light monsters live during your opponent's turn. So that's good, since, again, that will give them the quick play effect of tributing themselves like Cosmo, you know, the small pilots, and, you know, like work during your opponent's, or play during your opponent's turn, since, you know, if an archetype has the ability to play during your opponent's turn, then there is definitely potential. And that's definitely the case with this particular archetype, but the archetype still suffers. I mean, it has so many weaknesses. This is, by the way, one of the new tankies, or, you know, the archetype with the most recent wave of support. The Gothic tanky that also gives like 500 extra attack or defense, Clifford style, depending on, you know, which field spell you have on your side of the field, or you have on the field in general. And here in this case, the Dystopia, it kinda works out in his favor. At least this tanky right drops the attack of my opponent's Dystopia, so it makes the pop effect live. And okay, that's fine, I can still recover from that with, you know, the Black Morpheus here on the far left, one of the bigger ones. The Erebus, I guess, from the archetype. It pops something from your opponent when it's special summoned off of a Dream Mirror monster. And the small dark level one special summons from the hand, so, you know, that's quite cool, I guess. And the small level ones tag them out, at least tag out each other. So the small level one is basically the Stratos of the deck, and the small level one, the light one, searches out the dark. So you know where this archetype is going to, like the small, at least the light can search out the dark, and the other way around. Dark Law, pesky card. Try to attack over Dark Law, but it does have the Honest, and that's a huge... Well, it's fine, but again, I'm still very much live in a duel. Again, I can tag out during the battle phase. Dystopia sadly is live, so I can't, again, attack over it or try to attack over it, because my level 4, the Dark level 4 is fine. Again, the extra attack boost, thanks to the tanky and the field spell, but it can attack directly, but that's not really the best. The Light level 4 is better. That's the Debris Dragon. And again, you can only use that Debris Dragon effect when it's special summoned off of a monster effect. And yeah, Dark Claw eventually got me. Well, Dystopia actually. Dark Claw is fine, I was able to turn it off with the Impermanence, but that Dystopia multiple times was a bit too much. So using the trap card here, giving my opponent the field spell and myself of course to make my level 1 light live, and Thunder is definitely a horrible matchup for this deck for the most obvious reason, since your boss monsters, that's your Fusion and your Black Morpheus, they destroy, and well, playing against Thunders, they can just use their Fusions to prevent destruction. So getting another search, going for the quick play Fusion to get the Fusion on the field, and the Fusion, could, at least the Polymerization, could have been much better. Only 2 in the main mix since you can just search it out with their Stratos level 1. But the thing here is that, depending on which field spell is face up on the field, if both of them are face up on the field, well, if Terror, I'll just say it like this, if Terror is on the field spell, the Dark field spell here on my opponent's side of the field, you can banish materials from your graveyard. So that's good, that's fine, but it's standard effect, let's say, if you don't have any field spells, you have to send, or if you activate the Fusion spell, you have to send the materials from your side of the field to the graveyard, so that's a small hinder. So yeah, okay, thanks to Unicorn I was able to attack for a game, right? But still, it doesn't, well, these last 2 games will definitely showcase the, at least, especially the last 2 will definitely showcase, like, one of the biggest weaknesses of this particular deck. Ash Blossom is a huge weakness, one well-timed Ash Blossom that is. A well-timed Ash Blossom, if you tag out the smaller pilots, the smaller girls, I guess I can call them like that. A well-timed Ash Blossom can stop this deck in its tracks. Same for Call by the Grave. Again, to prevent your, or at least, yeah, to banish those smaller girls, smaller maidens, I guess, from your graveyard, is definitely a huge hinder. And you definitely want to max Call by the Grave, again, against your opponent's Ash Blossom, since that's huge. The Fusion triggers every time, or at least once, when you tag something, or you tribute something, they don't really tag out, but they tribute themselves, and then, you know, you can destroy something. So Morpheus here against Special Summon to pop something during your opponent's turn. So this is all cool, you know, triggering and tagging them out, so that's all nifty, but the strategy behind it, it's quite weak to interruption and to, well, you know, like a Phoenix, Nightmare Phoenix, a well-timed Nightmare Phoenix, or Ash Blossom, Call by the Grave, are all cards that pretty much every deck runs, and that's the huge problem. Or, you know, like Cyclone, Galaxy Cyclone, or Twin Twister, all definitely hard counters for this particular deck. So anyway, the Dark field spell lets me tag out the Light, which is a Stratos again, to search out the Dark special summon something from their hand, and then special summon the Light level 4, which is a Debris Dragon, again, just making, you know, that I have like a field full of potential tributes during my opponent's turn. So the Cosmos strategy, I guess. Again, having those smaller pilots on my side of the field to tribute them for other counterparts from the deck or whatever to, you know, play during your opponent's turn. Again, very similar to the Cosmos strategy. So again, the Dark Morpheus destroying something, and here, okay, I think I should be in a good position. I think I still have my Fusion. Indeed, yeah, my Polymerization set, but the problem here is, again, he was able to get rid of my field spell, so now, again, very similar to the Orchest field spell, I can't play, I can't tag out during my opponent's turn, and, okay, I can go for the Fusion here, but it's not going to do anything. So again, if the Fusion is destroyed, I can reborn something, so I'm still very much alive in a duel, try to attack over his monsters, and okay, they all get destroyed. The Fusion will trigger, trying to reborn the Light Maiden, again the Stratos, but sadly, again having that, forgot the name, you know which one I mean, the barrier for Salamangreats, and that's basically game over. Now he's able to, you know, get all of those monsters on the field, and yeah, this eventually will be game. So, you know, I like the strategy. It's a cool strategy of the Dream Mirrors. Their second wave of support definitely helps out the archetype, but the archetype still suffers from so many weaknesses. The heavily you're so reliant on your field spell, which, okay, Konami tries to solve that by giving them like a metaverse-alike card, and, you know, they have like Trap Trick, the Trap Trick engine, etc. So, okay, you have options to keep a field spell, or at least to at least have like one field spell, at least keep those field spell phase up on the field during your opponent's turn as well, but it's still very vulnerable, like the tag, well, even though if you have a field spell, tagging out and running into like a A Call by the Grave or an Ash Blossom from the opponent could stop this deck in its tracks. So cool strategy, but the deck still suffers from a lot of weaknesses. So cards like Nibiru might be an option, especially going second. Not a huge fan of 1-for-1. Okay, you can get your level 1 on the field, but the discard cost is quite heavy. Pot of Duality might be okay again, digging through your deck for answers. There is like a trap card that gets back banished field spells indeed back to the deck, but I'm not a huge fan of that. Again, it's only, well, it's terrible first turn. Okay, you could get it live, right, of banishing your own field spells first turn, but that's not really that great. Again, it's just a brick first turn. You want to have like your extenders, your main combo searches, your cards. So I'm not a huge fan of that, but again, maybe with the third wave that might become just a staple, right? Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.